It's been a month since I did my last podcast, and I can't explain why. And I'd like to. And all I can say is that I've had a ton of experiences since that day that I recorded, which by the calendar, it was September 5th. And today is the 28th, I think. And every day that went by that I didn't record, I grieved a little bit. This is something that I really love doing. And it's a way for me to get out what I need to say without writing a book, because God damn it, that's difficult and I can't do it and it's just not going to happen. So if I record my voice in a conversational manner, which that's where I'm best, then maybe someday it can become a book, but I'm not going to do it. So if you want to do it for me, that would be great. But at this point, I can't. I don't have time. And my best work is done in the moment and spontaneously, off the cuff, non-scripted. That's where you get the most distilled version of me. And that's what I want. I want that. I want that documented. Why? Why, you ask? Couple of reasons. I guess the main one would be I've known for many, many, many years, and I've been getting feedback lately about certain abilities that I have, certain skill sets that I've developed that are unique. And I used to hate them. And I was hated for them. And so now I am claiming them, owning them, and putting them out there without fear of repercussion any longer. And so that's funny. I just said this out loud. I'm just saying this out loud. And I've never really thought about it before in that way, actually. This is why I do this. Why? Okay, yeah. Why do this now? Well, there's a good reason. Because my voice was silenced. And then all of my attributes that people praise me for, that have gotten me where I am today, the past 3 years, I've put on 30 concerts plus. I'm just counting the ones that were up at Dog Mountain. 30 shows. And that's 60 bands. I've played the biggest stage in Vermont 3 times in 1 year, as supporting. But still, who can say that? I've gone to LA 3 times. I got to see and be behind the scenes and on site and part of the work crew for a huge concert. What else? There's so much. It's surreal, and it shouldn't be my life, but it is, because every choice I make in every moment propels me further down this path. And I remember, all this energy. So I've got this energy. I've got this personality I just learned that is unique. And it is why I am where I am today. That's my asset. It's not the degree that I hold, because I have a degree. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, the reason I chose the degree I got is because my personality and my experiences turned me toward that particular subject. And I could have made another choice in the moment, but I didn't. I chose philosophy. I chose philosophy because I had an interest in learning more about who I am in the world. And if I learn more about who I am in the world, then I'll understand others' place in the world. And that's led me down this path of trying to understand, human beings in their most raw form, and then see the layers of social and cultural pressures and expectations piled on top of that, and how that alters the behavior of humans, how we trying to think of the right words here. We're a very abnormal species. And I'm very interested in how we have become pretty much the plague of the earth, honestly. We've outgrown the ability, or the earth's ability to sustain us, and to, what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it. Red wine, how dare you? Stealing my vocabulary. I'm so smart otherwise. Anyway, I'll come back to it. The words will come back. Where was I? This is what happens. I get off track. Anyway, it's been a long time since my last podcast. And maybe that's a good thing, because maybe this is all shit. And I shouldn't be doing it. But too bad. Yeah, so since our last chat together, I do my regular day-to-day routine. I put on 3 concerts and competed at the New Hampshire Highland Games. What else? And I started the Vermont Leadership Institute on Thursday of this week, and was there for the past 2 days. And now I'm here, home, having a day off, which has been quite difficult for me to have a day off. Because when I'm idle, I spin because there's so many things that need to get done that I want to do. And I get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff, and taking a day off for me is more stressful than anything. So here I am with a day off, and I had grand ideas for the day off. But what happened was, it was more perpetual motion and less quality time. And I know that, and I can see my behavior as it unfolds, and I can't help it. And I end up kind of rocking in a corner, just not knowing what to do with all the energy that's been just stored away in places I didn't know existed. And it's trying to escape, and it just becomes inner chaos, just inner storm. And this happens to me a lot. This is not the first time, nor will it be the last. I just know that it happens. And so I fear days off, and I get anxious. I'm anxious right now because it's 8:39 at night, and I don't know why I'm anxious. I don't know. All I know is that it happens when I have days off. And so I'm processing it. This is me processing it live through conversation with myself, but that's still conversation. So here I sit on my bedroom floor, wondering what I'm doing, why I'm recording. And I have things on my mind that I want to talk about, but when they get mixed up with that energy that I have swirling through my body right now, things just get torn away and ripped apart. And watching them get ripped apart is hard for me, because then the sense of being out of control starts to settle in. And I don't know what to do with that feeling of being out of control. And usually, I'll ignore that phone call. I don't know if you heard that, but the phone just vibrated, but I'm not answering that right now. That nervous energy where you can't think straight. Even after going for a 3-mile run, I still couldn't settle down. And maybe it's something that maybe it's something I need medication for. I don't know. I mean, it happens often enough where I will actively try to escape it. And I've been doing that for years and years. I mean, coping with that for over a decade. Where a day off, the clock would haunt me. So I would cover it up. I'd cover up the digital clock in the kitchen so it wouldn't haunt me. You should be doing this at this time. You should have done this by this time. It's 3:00 now. You should be planning dinner. Like you should. All of these things that I should be doing at certain times were just shouting at me constantly, in a pretty significant way in my inner landscape. So I would cover up the time so it would stop. Just the demands inside my head would stop. And it's not so bad. Not as bad anymore. I've given up a lot of control. But it still comes back. And today was a good example of it. And I start to get really angry with myself. Why can't you relax? What's your problem? Relax. Go do something fun. Well, I can't. It's... Maybe it is something that needs to be treated. I don't know. For forever, I've just self-medicated, and I'm not talking about drugs or alcohol, even though, red wine is my go-to in the evening. But I would get on these kicks where I'm like, oh, okay, bananas are supposed to calm you. If you eat 400 of them, you're supposed to get this, you're supposed to chill out. So I've, over the years, every so many years, I go out and buy a shit ton of bananas because that's going to help me pull my head together. Or, hops, not beer, but actual hops from the vine. I would soak them in water and drink that, knowing that it had a medicinal property and it was anxiety relieving. And plus I just love the bitterness of it. So I would do that. So yeah, just over time, you just settle into these peculiar behaviors and you just deal.